Alright, hello world, my name is Nicholas Joseph Rosales and I'm here to show you one of the ideas I invented recently. And please excuse my face, for it is kind of fugly right now, but you know what, this idea is too complex and so simple and so DIY that I actually am on this project right now as well. I'm doing a lot of projects right now, a lot of different projects, okay? But this is one of my ideas that I'm actually going to bring back to life too, unless somebody beats me to it. Alright, this project is inspired by pin art device. You seen these before? Alright. These are pin art devices, alright? They are toy. They are a berry toy. Okay, these are toys. I bought it at Five Below just for this project to explain what I mean by sending Braille messages. Okay? Braille. Let's start off with that. Braille is a language for the blind. Alright? So blind people read Braille. When they're reading a book, they're reading Braille and they're filling the letters. Okay? They're like, okay, well, okay, I can't see, so I'm not going to need to look at it, but I'm going to need to fill them. Alright? So these bumps, these Braille letters are symbolized with bumps. Okay? Bumps. Much like these pins. As a matter of fact, that's where I'm going with this. These pins are bumps. Alright? Like the Braille messages, alright? Now, you see how I raise this? Alright? Say this is one letter. Actually, one of these is going to symbolize one Braille bump. Alright? So my idea is to make this device accessible and be able to send in some messages and have them erase and send and erase and send and erase and send on demand for the blind person, okay? And the blind person doesn't need a phone. They need an AI smart device that can send up each pin by pulse. Alright? So I'm gonna send an electronic pulse to lift up one of these dots. For example, this will be the letter A. Okay, the blind person would come over here and be filling out for the letter A. Alright? Very simple enough, right? So letter A, here it is. Fill it up. Okay, it's easy to send an electronic pulse somewhere. Alright, if the device has the instructions. Alright, now AI, luckily we have AI because we can make this device an AI device. Which the AI device can translate our phones that we have as seeing people, our cell phones, whatever, they cannot see, but they don't need to see. Okay, we need a device or an app on our phones that can write our messages in English, translate them to Braille, but you can't fill that on a cell phone screen, right? They can translate them to Braille, so I have to turn this Braille into a dot system, a raised dot system. Okay, so now I already know the Braille alphabet. I know what it looks like in bumps. I know what it feels like in bumps. Feels like bumps. And okay, so I went ahead and I figured that we can use these bumps and symbolize the dots where they are going to be at in a letter. Okay. So in order to do that, I figured we're going to use Excel. So I use Excel. I actually created a Excel spreadsheet of the Braille alphabet. Now feeding this device, this translator, we're going to have to make this app configure the dots to be the bumps. Alright? In order to do that, we're going to need placeholders in our cells. Alright? We're going to need placeholders, or we are going to need to not format our 3x2 squares. Alright? Where they're going to be 3x2s, but they're going to be 6. Okay? So 3 times 2 is 6. Alright? So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells per letter. Alright? So it's going to be a group of cells per letter. Alright? We're going to leave the formatting, no lines in the formatting. Okay? So it's going to look like this. And I did it by color. Okay? So I color coordinated each letter in the alphabet for Braille. Alright? And now in this group of pink or orange or green or red or purple, there is 3 possibilities where these dots are, 6 possibilities where these dots can be. 6 possibilities only. Alright, it just so happens that A is 1 dot all the way to the left. Alright, so that would be right here. So I put the dot in A1, or the first square. Alright, then that's 1 letter. Okay, so it's going to be the first square symbolized by one cell, another cell, another cell, another cell, another cell. But those are going to be highlighted because we need those to be there, alright, as placeholders. Placeholders for the letter. Alright, in order for the machine to read this, it's going to be like binary. And binary is going to be on, 1, and the rest off in that whole group of cells, okay? So it's going to be 1 on. Alright? And it's going to be colored different. It's going to be purple. This whole block's going to be purple with 1 little dot. Or 1 binary on and the rest off. 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 0. So it's going to be 1 and a bunch of zeros. Alright? The next square of 6 cells, alright, that is going to be a dot and a dot, representing B in Braille. Okay, that is 2 dots. That is 2 dots, 1 above each other. 1 above each other. So 1 and 2. Right underneath each other, okay? Remember, they're 3 by 2. So 3 and 3, making a total of 6. 6 cells. Okay, so we're gonna need a cell in A1. I'm sorry, it's gonna be 6 over. Okay, so it's gonna be like what? C1 and C2 and 3, and then off. Okay, so alright, so you're gonna look. Let me draw the diagram for you. Alright, I'm gonna draw it exactly how I made it in Excel. 1 second, let me just grab my pen. Where the fuck is it? Hold on, please, I'm coming. I'm coming to write the diagram of what I made. Yes, I am. I'm coming to entertain you. Alright, here we go. So, I couldn't find a pen, but I got a marker. Alright, I don't know where my pen is. I think it's in my bag somewhere. But I got a marker. This marker is just going to work just fine, okay? Just dandy. Alright, but it's going to leak in my other pages. And I already have a page on my Braille messaging in here. Where is it at? I will continue my Braille, where my Braille fucking shit is. Alright, where is it at? Because I don't want to start a new page with the whole Braille idea all over again. We don't need that. So I'm going to find where I wrote about my Braille right here. Alright, no, that's a song. No. No. Well, anyway, I don't really need to. I have this video. Alright. So in this video, I'm explaining this. Let me just get a piece of paper. Perfect. Piece of paper. Alright. On this piece of paper, I'm going to draw what I wrote, what I figured out how to do in Excel. What I figured out how I'm making this alphabet in Excel accessible for you. Alright? And for the reader and for this invention. Ultimately for this invention to work. Okay? Here are my cells. When I say 3 by 2, I mean 3 by 2. You see this? This is a group of 3 by 2 squares in Excel. Okay, so it's going to look like this. A, B, C, D, followed by 1, 2, 3. You get that? Alright, so in this set of cells, I'm going to have 1 dot and the rest not dotted. This is the A for the Braille language. Alright, so this is the A that symbolizes Braille. This whole group of things plus this 1 dot in there, and these are going to be off. Okay, so we're going to need a placeholder for these to symbolize off. We can't just use off because off is nothing. So if nothing's there, there are not going to be any spaces between these dots. And with these spaces in between these dots is what we need to realize that this bump is where, this dot is where this bump is going to go on this little map. You get me? So, for example, instead of nothing, I'm going to put a forward slash. Okay, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, and all the other cells, except for the dot. And this is still going to be A. Alright, now I can go and format my map, my key, to only accept dots and forward slashes within the cells. That's going to be a rule that I'm going to set in Excel. Alright, so then I'm going to come over, I'm going to make another 2x3 set of cells, okay? But I'm going to do it in a different color to symbolize the difference and where it is, okay? So in Excel, in Braille, the dots for B are one above the other in the first two spaces, okay? So it's going to be dot, dot, and then forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, alright? So it's going to look like this. And this is going to be B. So let me see it. A in Braille is right here. And B in Braille is right here. Alright. So A in Braille, B in Braille, and then I'm going to go C in Braille, D in Braille, E in Braille, F in Braille. Alright, so it's going to have the whole alphabet in Braille. And they all fit in these 6 groups of cells, okay? Each one of these represents one letter. Each one of these I color coordinated to be, I color coordinated and I took off the lines. So it looks like dots representing the Braille, representing nothing, okay? So, but in my Excel spreadsheet, I didn't do forward slashes for all of them. In my Excel spreadsheet, my first idea was to be able to stick it all in one cell. I thought I was going to have to go dot, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, and then the next one, the next cell, forward slash, dot, forward slash, you know, and so on and so on. But see, it didn't work out that way. Because that's what my cells are for. My cells are for to represent locations, alright? So I don't need to do this all in one cell. Each location can have its own dot, or its own non-dot. Its own forward slash, okay? So this information, this data, is going to be able to be translated into a Braille machine that can read this information that we create to read this spreadsheet in Excel and be able to lift up one pin per dot. You getting me? So I'll be able to lift up one pin per dot. So if I want to put the letter A, I'm going to send them A. Okay? But on our phones are already smart devices. Our phones will be able to write it in English. This will be under all the hood, okay? All of this translation will be under our hood, and our apps will be doing that only to relay our full message in Braille. By Braille printer device, okay? Are you following so far? Alright, so that's that, and that's my Braille idea for Braille instant messaging, inspired by the Pinart device. So now I just need to get AI to become a translating app, and make this AI device receive messages that were already translated. Okay, remember our app under our hood and under our phones are going to be the translating app. That's going to be the power of the whole thing. This is just going to be able to read the message and relay it to you in Braille. So this doesn't need to be all that smart, because all that activity is going to be done under the hood of our app on our phone. Okay, are you following? Great. So the app on our phone is going to do all this work, and all this Braille little smart device needs to have to do is be able to lift up these little bumps on the full message that we already translated in the Braille language, and then format it into a way that this device can read in the form of Braille. Okay? Alright. When that becomes successful, and it should be fairly simple, I mean, we have so many smart minds out there that can make technology just like that. Okay, me, I just have these ideas and I just have these ways of putting them together, and somebody else is gonna have to make it happen. I mean, I took the start. I made the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, now I need somebody to be able to throw this into an app, and to be able to understand, and to be able to make this device understand what a dot means instead of a pin, okay? Each dot means one pin, raised up, okay, by location. So this is going to have to be mapped out on its location. This is going to have 6 groups, 6 cell groups right here, okay? And it's kind of weird because this is a star, but maybe if we had a square one, it'd be cool and easier. So this will have to have a group of 6 cells. 6 cells, 6 cells, 6 cells to be able to spell out whatever, okay? But it doesn't have to be so like this. It can be side by side just the way Braille is read, because it's already going to be a full message inside underneath our hood of our phone and our app. That's already going to know how to do all that. It's already going to have the whole message being able to ready to send, and just this has to be the receiver. So this is going to receive the message and broadcast the message in the Braille language that it knows, that we translated for it in our app over here. You get that? And these devices can be shipped out to anybody who's blind. You have a friend, you give it to your friend who likes to read in Braille, who always reads in Braille. That's the only way he knows how to read. He probably doesn't have a cell phone, or maybe he does because he could still speak, and he can use AI to speak back and send another message back. So this can be an actual sender too. This can send a message too, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in Braille. You can speak to it, because blind people, they can still speak and hear. Alright? So this can be able, you can speak to this and be like, okay, well, I received your message, sure. Okay, well, send a reply with this message, okay? So it doesn't have to know, it doesn't have to go beep, boop, beep in here. No, it doesn't. It just has to respond with your voice text, which your app will convert or receive an audio transmission from you. Okay, thank you. That is my presentation for my Braille-inspired device for pin art. Alright? Somebody make it, the rest of it happen. Alright? If it already exists, I didn't know. I just tried my best way of making that happen for blind people. Alright? Inspired through this little device. A device like this. I doubt people are using that as a... Wait. But, maybe they are. I don't know. But, hopefully, it helps. Because it's such a simple thing that I feel it's so simple to do and to create. I don't know why I just don't go full throttle, because I can. I would just need to learn how to make an AI technology device that can read a language. I feed the language model and broadcast either voice messages sent back. So it would have to send and receive. That's it. Alright, that's it. It's very, very simple. Alright, well, anyways, that's my Braille device idea. Inspired by pin art. You're welcome.